भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all. Thou art all. Thou assumest all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, and from this limited mortal existence to the unlimited, all-pervading one. Om, peace, peace, peace. Today's topic, dear friends, I don't know what I was thinking when I gave this title, because what happens, the title is given long back, and then what thoughts were there at that time get overshadowed by some other stuff, and then I actually forgot what was the exact theme that was in my mind at that time, but then last couple of days I had been asking some of the devotees and friends to give me some ideas, some suggestions, and then some of them did very kindly cooperated and gave out some wise ideas. So I am able to somehow put the talk together. As you see this picture, this term actually is from the old British tradition at the Buckingham Palace that, the guards change and then one shift changes to another shift, and so that is called change of guard. But figuratively what it means is the change of leadership. When one leadership changes to another leadership, one regime changes to another regime, that gets called as change of guard, So, one regime has certain priorities, then it changes, new priorities come. When we just had a change of regime, yes, so some of the old laws were scrapped, some new laws were put in, many executive orders were signed, change. And this happens when any new president in US takes place. In US, because of the constitution and the bureaucracy and all, the change is not that upside down, not completely a total revolutionary change in these things. But recently there was a coup in Myanmar where the government was just thrown out and the military rule is established. So the change is now from root to the top, everything would get changed. In many cases, we know in history that when the regime changed, so many things were just discarded. Some, not that certain things were exactly opposite the policies of the new, but just to say that we don't want anything of that old, everything was just scrapped. In France, there was this French Revolution where all those principles of liberty, equality, fraternity were ushered in. Soon those principles were just obliterated, they were murdered, and many, in the name of this, were killed. So it was a very big change. So the change of guard, the new system takes over the old one. The new ideas therefore shift. Now the old ideas are thrown out, and all the life gets changed in now under the new disposition, as it were. It is in Mahabharata, there is this very instructive passage, instructive teachings of Bhishma, the grandfather lying on his deathbed, waiting for the time to change so that he can pass out of this body on an auspicious occasion. He had been blessed with that special, all others are not blessed with it. We cannot make that kind of choice. I don't want to die, but I may die this moment. And even if I want to die, well, the death will not come. But with that Bhishma, he had this boon. So his body was pierced with hundreds or maybe thousands of arrows. And certainly it must have been quite painful, and he would have probably thought, might have liked to give up the body then and there. But then he thought of giving up the body a few days later, after they knew this thing, an auspicious occasion comes, then he would be giving the body when in the month of January, when the sun now starts moving towards the north, or the earth moves in that way, then he thought he will give up his body. So it is called Uttarayana. The winter time is getting over and the warmer days are coming and all that. So at that time, So he gave lot of valuable advice to the King Yudhishthir. Krishna took Yudhishthir that let us see, we have to now meet this Bhishma who is going to give up his body soon. Before he gives up the body, let us collect some gems of wisdom that he had been accumulating for all these many years. And so Yudhishthira goes there with Krishna. And then many things have been told by Bhishma, that is the Shanti Parva, and all those, that advice comes there. Very beautiful, very important. And then one of them is that, remember, it is the leader, the king, who changes the course of time. It is never that the time will change the ruler. It is the ruler who changes the times. So, Raja Kalasya Karanam. So, it is the ruler, the king, the leader who will be bringing or ushering in the changes. In our life too, friends, it is like that. The old and the new, when our ideas change, this happens, as we see when the change of guard happens. The old guard going out, the new guard, new leader establishes the new policies, new furniture also is brought in. No, we want that, we don't want that furniture. Even the pictures on the wall get changed. In White House, when new president comes, all that happens. The furniture gets changed according to the likings of the new leader. So the new staff comes in, and new ethos replaces the old. All that, is happening. The new adjustments take place, that it is new priorities are set, new goals are set, new challenges are thought of, and the new direction is taken up conscientiously, with effort. So the times change when the new leadership starts asserting itself conscientiously, deliberately. So in our life also, it is not that things happen just automatically. We have to make determined efforts. We have to take charge of our life and see that it is taken on the right path. And we see that this is how our life would change. Otherwise, it just keeps on going on on some old track. We just keep on hoping, it will happen automatically, the God will step in, and so forth. But that is just the idle talk. It is, we must just make our this power of determination, power of conscious decision making awaken. It will sound like ego. Yes, it is ego, but it is better ego. The ripe ego, as Sri Ramakrishna would say, is better than the unripe ego. That unripe ego, I don't care, and I don't know, and I don't want to do anything. That is the ego steeped in laziness. That ego has to be replaced. That leadership is to be replaced by a determined thinking ego. That yes, I want to make my life go in the right direction. It might not have gone so far, of course. Yeah, but now I am bringing in this new change in my life. I know that it is the good change, and so I am going to do that. It is, and we know that tremendously powerful story in Kathopanishad, right in the beginning. That story begins that there is this little boy fired with virtues, has good idea that truth is very important, and then because of the truth, I am just fast forwarding the story, that he objected to certain things that his father was doing, which were not very truthful. So he says, why, and the father, getting upset, sends him to the god of death in his anger. And then he goes to the god of death. Now, the god of death was not there at that time. He had gone to some other errand. He was not expecting this boy to knock at his door at this time. So he had gone to some errand, maybe to get tested for corona or whatever. So it is, he had gone, and this boy was waiting there for his coming back. He waited there for 3 days and nights. And so when this Yamaraja, god of death, returns, he says, I am so sorry you had to wait here for me for 3 days and nights, and you didn't, I was told you didn't take any food or water for 3 days because you wanted to meet me first. And so, just to get rid of this sin that has incurred me because of this keeping you waiting, I grant you 3 boons. 3 boons. So, Nachiketa thought, now he has 3 boons. He has to decide which boon to be asked. Now, whatever is at the top of the mind, that boon gets asked first. Asking boon is also an art, it is asking for boon. Swami Vivekananda tells a story in Inspired Talks that one couple, husband and wife, they were asked, well, you have 3 boons, ask for that. And then wife started saying we should have this. Husband said, no, we both have very, terrible looking nose and people make fun of us because of that. So let us ask by first boon. Let our nose be made fine. Yeah. The wife was saying one thing, husband was saying, so husband shouted, nose, 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 we want nose, nothing else, noses, noses, noses. And both of them, they got, all their face was full of noses only. And that was horrible. And then they said, oh, no, we don't want all these noses. All noses disappeared, including their original nose. That also disappeared. Now this noseless face, then that taught the couple some wisdom. Oh, let us not rush into asking. Let us think about it, what should be asked. So they thought, well, at least let us ask, give us one nice looking nose for each of us. But then they decided against it, because then when people would see that they have now a very pretty looking nose, they will ask, how did you get it? And then we have to tell all this tale of our foolishness. So they prayed to that ghost who was giving the boon, oh, give us back our original old nose. So they got the 3 boons, but nothing could be accomplished by that. So one has to have that wisdom what to ask. So Nachiketa, at that time, he was just disbanded by his dad, and he had come here. So the first thought in his mind was, let my dad be calmed down. And when I go back from you, then he will recognize me and welcome me. So give me that boon. That was important, because that is just a one-way passage, to go to the death. Nobody comes back. So if somebody comes back, the dad will think it is all ghosts, whatever, will not welcome. So that was his first boon, let my father be calmed down. Those first concerns were done. They actually represent our earthly concerns. The well-being of me, my family, and all that, let everything be taken care of well. That our earthly needs, that is the initial priority of Nachiketa. But then second boon now, what to ask for? Whatever riches that this life can acquire on earth and in heaven and all that I want. So he asked the knowledge about a particular sacrifice, getting which all that glory will come to him. That boon also was granted with delight. He was taught about how to perform that ritual, and since he learned it so fast, another boon also was given to him, additional boon, that this fire sacrifice now henceforth will be bearing your name. This will be known as Nachiketa sacrifice. So then comes the third boon. Nachiketa saw that even if you get all those heavenly riches, still the life is just subject to death, coming and going. What is the use of all this wealth? After all, these enjoyments don't mean much. What is it? I will get, instead of eating one candy, 1,000 candies. What is the use? They don't have, they won't taste any better. I will get a big house to live in. I have small house now. I will get a big house. More headache actually. It is, but we still are greedy for those things. And I will have this and everything, that ultimately doesn't satisfy, because all of these, they are subject to birth and death, coming and going. Nothing of that is permanent. So he asked Nachiketa, he asked that god of death, what is permanent? Tell me, when this body goes, is there something that continues? I want to know about that which continues in spite of the death of the body. And there was this dramatic thing now. The god of death was not ready to yield to this boon. Oh, Nachiketa, that's too difficult. It is even those wise heavenly beings found it difficult to grasp. So ask something different. You are a young boy after all. So ask something else. Whatever wealth you want in this world, I can give you. How much ever life you want to lead, I will give you that much healthy life. And if you want the kingdom of the three worlds, I can give you that also. Just ask for, if you want that many children and grandchildren and all that family, I can give you that also. Please don't ask me about this particular boon. Nachiketa laughed, said, I have seen through all this. And what is there to get those things, if you are my friend, God of death, then I already have those things, I don't need to get them. He was so clear that I don't want any of these. God of death actually shows him. See, these are all these beautiful chariots, and there are these wonderful women playing various enchanting tunes on different instruments. I will give you, no human being can get these things. With my blessings you will get all this, and these they will serve you. It is, Nachiketa said, well, let it be with you, tavaiva vaha, tava nritya gite, all this dancing and music with you, let it be with you. I don't care for that. I ask only the boon that I asked. If you are going to give it to me, fine. Nanyam varo nachiketa vrinite, a very strong statement he makes. Nothing else I am asking for. If you are able to grant this boon, give it to me. Else, that's it. I am not asking for anything else. There is nothing that can substitute this. For everything else is subject to death. It vanishes in a jiffy. The life just comes and goes. Howsoever long the life is, it is just a jiffy. It is momentary. That's it. It is. I feel that it is, my age is almost, well over 65. And then still I feel I was just born. The 65 years just vanished like this. Gone. So he said, all this is useless. I don't want any of these things. I have seen through this. I have examined and seen through all that you are offering. I want just that which is not subject to change, subject to death. And then the God of death was very pleased with Nachiketa. Wow, you have shown tremendous understanding. Your power of, sticking to discernment, viveka, the Vedanta, that word for that is viveka, and discernment, to discern between what is permanent and what is impermanent, what is right and what is just liked. You have shown tremendous that stability, tremendous understanding of these, and you stuck to your guns. You did not relent in the face of temptations. That is the problem with most of us, that I can resist everything but not the temptations, So it is fine, I say big things, but then, well, yes, I will do that, certainly I will do that. But if somebody tells you that you will get this delicacy only if you don't do it, then I think, okay, that let me first have this delicacy, then later on I will think about it. First let me finish this chocolate ice cream, and then I will deal with those whatever other things are. So, but Nachiketa was firm like rock, and was not moved even an inch, didn't budge from his resolve, and that too not in an emotional, egotistic way, but seeing that this impermanent thing, what is the value of it? These are just what you call enjoyments, is just the titillation of senses. It just like somebody laughs when you tickle that person. It is so. Is that kind of laugh good? Nothing. It is nothing joyous about it. So the feelings of such likes, dislikes, they are just titillation. There is no permanence to them. That very thing that gives you happiness can give you pain also. So therefore Nachiketa saw through this. That is what the god of death says. Exactly, Nachiketa, Abhidhyayan Atyasrakshi. Beautiful words come in this Kathopanishad about it, that god of death says you just did not discard it emotionally, but Abhidhyayan means meditating on their impermanent nature. Now you have discarded all that. And so, he says there, two paths are open to human beings. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametah tau samparitya vivinakti dhirah shreyo hi dhiro abhipreyaso vrinite preyo mando yogakshemad vrinite. That, see, he tells Nachiketa that these two leaderships are open, two directions are open. When our likes and dislikes rule our life, I like this, that's it. You don't think, is it right or not? The life ruled by likes and dislikes takes you to disaster. The life ruled by discernment, that leads to what is called the ultimate good. Your decisions are taken not on the basis of likes and dislikes, but on the basis of right or not right. So this spirit of discernment has to be given the leadership. That is the change of guard one has to make, friends. If we want to lead a practical spiritual life, this change of guard has to happen. The leadership should be given to this principle of discernment. Let that decide, not likes and dislikes and my all those preconceived notions and the ego and all that. Let that go out. Let the spirit of discernment decide. And then that in that very first chapter, third canto, this is described then how if you are going ahead with life with this discernment as the guiding principle, under the leadership of discernment, then you will go on the right path and reach the goal. It says that imagine this journey going in the chariot, this shariram rathamevatu, this body be the chariot. You are the traveler. Then, and buddhim tu sarathim vidhi, the spirit of discernment, let that be the charioteer. That charioteer now will take the horses that you see are the organs, sense organs, motor organs, indriyani hayanahu. They are the horses. And then what happens? If the charioteer is in charge, this discernment is the charioteer in charge, then the things will go in the right direction. If likes and dislike is the charioteer, then what happens? Then your life just remains in this confinement of these sense objects and is bound. Samsaram chadhigacchati. That it is, and that life is not desirable. You will not reach the destination of journey because there is no path. You will be just moving on a circular path. Where do you reach, Vitthal, if you are just moving on the circular path? Nowhere, exactly. That is what is our life. Thank you. You reach nowhere. Keep on circling. That is, in Vedanta, that is called samsara. Again and just moving on, moving on, moving on. Like a bull. To make that bull keep on running, keep on moving ahead, and for the oil mill, that oil mill run by bull. So what they do, why the bull will move ahead? That they put a stick and tie some grass there, right in front of the eye of the bull. And so the bull keeps on moving forward to eat that grass. And now the grass also moves, the bull also moves, it goes on and on and on, never ending. This is samsara. This is what we are get caught in. So this is how, if the likes and dislikes, they are in charge, then this is how the life moves. But if discernment, viveka, vijnana sarathiryasya, this is beautiful thing. I am not actually quoting all these verses in this, but vijnana sarathiryasya mana pragrahavan naraha sodvana paramapnoti tadvishnu paramam padam. If this discernment is the charioteer, vijnana sarathi, then he holds the reins of mind and guides the horses on this path, proper path. What happens? Then you go beyond this samsara, advana, that is samsara. Advana paramapnoti. You go beyond these things, this perishable world. And tadvishnu, you reach where? That ultimate goal of life, the abode of Vishnu, as it were. So this is how the life then changes completely. See, the life confined when the leadership is likes and dislikes. Well, today I like this, I will run after it. Now you go after it, your likings change. Morning you like one thing, evening you like another thing. But the decision you make on the basis of like and dislike stick with you. And so you are bound now, again and again. And there, that in the beginning, that God of death tells Nachiketa that thereby, they again and again, these people fall in my clutches. So, punah vashamagatyata apadyate me. Again and again, they get into my clutches. So, but that is how, if likes and dislikes are at the helm, it won't work. I like this, so I do it. No, let that not be the criterion. What should be the criterion? What is right? What is that by my discernment, what I see as the right thing, I will do that whether I like it or I don't like it. Even if I dislike it, if it is right, then I will do it. And even it is, my discernment tells this is not right. Then even if I like, I will not do it. That should become the leadership. Change of guard has to happen here. Instead of likes, dislikes, and then ego is the master of that. So ego, that unripe ego, that moves, vacillates with that likes and dislike, then the life goes in one direction. When the discernment takes place, it goes in other direction. Now, most of us are not having such strong will like Nachiketa to hold on to the spirit of discernment. What hope do they have? Well, surrender that leadership of ego to God. Let God be the leader. We see this example, that surrender to God, in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna was, the disciple there, was feeling that he knows everything. He will decide. He told Krishna, come on, take my chariot in the middle of the two armies. And then afterwards gave a lecture to Krishna that, well, we should not fight. Let us run away from here. Let us go begging. You also come, I will also beg, you also will beg, and we will have our life lived like that. But he saw the contradictions that he is getting caught in. He became so despondent after giving this talk, after blurting out all the nonsense. Then he sees what a terrible thing he was getting into. And so he became so despondent, and then tells Krishna, after Krishna scolded him for his weakness, he surrenders to Krishna that, please lift me out of this terrible stinking mire that I am caught in, that please take me out. Shadhimam tvam prapannam. I am taking refuge in you, please take me out of this. And then change of guard now. Now his ego is not in charge. Now Krishna is in charge. Now Krishna tells what is to be done. Krishna is in charge. So it goes like that. Krishna explains, answers many questions of Arjuna. But then Arjuna had already said, Shishyasteham Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. I am taking refuge in you, Tvam Prapannam. I am your disciple, please, please guide me. And then ultimately in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he tells, Karishye Vachanam Tava. I will do what you tell me to do. It is so the change of guard. Let God be the leader in our life, not our ego. This is a big shift, friends, to make God. It is easier for most of us than making the spirit of this discernment as the leader. It is very good, but most of us do not have that powerful determination. Our spirit of discernment just dissolves with a little temptation. So it is, therefore we need to take refuge in God, who will then help us out. So in modern times you see the story of Girish Chandra Ghosh. He had his life, he was he's called the father of Bengali theatre, a great writer, poet, actor. He started the Bengali theatre and was very successful. as such but in the course his life got under the influence of many bad habits, bad things. He could see that, and he wanted to redeem himself out of it. And so he comes to Sri Ramakrishna. He is man of very strong rational abilities. He is also a person of very strong, powerful feelings and emotions. He comes to Sri Ramakrishna and is sitting, what should be done? There is the Swami Chaitananda's book on Girish Chandra Ghosh, wonderful book. One should read that. It is, and Girish Chandra says that I had done all the sins, and he says that had I known that there is this Redeemer like Sri Ramakrishna going to come, I would have done a few more. So it is like that. I told that story the last time that there was this confession going on, and then one man goes to the confessor and said that I have committed 3 sins. And then is told, okay, you are absolved, just put $20 in the box there. Another man also says, I have 3 sins, then to confess. And then that also, when he tells that, okay, you are absolved, no problem, just put a $20 bill. The story is of olden times. Now it may be $100, who knows. It is. So the third man comes, and then he says, I have 2 sins to confess. There was a janitor working there. Everything was getting hurt. The janitor screams, oh fellow, you go out and commit one more. There is a sale. For $20 you can get rid of 3 sins. So go and commit one more. So it is, Girish said, well, when such a Redeemer was there, I could have committed a few more sins. But he is sitting near Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna said, oh well, it is in the morning and evening, for a short time, repeat the name of Lord, sit for kind of meditation, repeat the name of Lord. Can you do that? Now it appeared to be a pretty simple thing to do, but Girish thought, he didn't want to give an empty promise, I will do, and won't do at all. So he was thoughtful. He saw that where he is in the morning, evening, and what state of body and mind he is in. He might be just in the theater doing something, or might be drunk and what not, So he was hesitating to give that promise. Sri Ramakrishna said, if that is not possible, at least when you get up, think of God, and when you go to bed, repeat the name of God once in the morning and evening as you get up and as you sleep. Girish thought it is so simple, but no, how can I say that? It looks so simple. Anybody else would have said, yes, I will do it. But he was aware of his condition. No, I don't think I can make such a promise. And when seeing that Girish is with all gloomy face, is just sitting without uttering a word, Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, then give me power of attorney. Give me power of attorney. So, now what happens? Now, Sri Ramakrishna has the power. The charge is with Sri Ramakrishna, and not with Girish himself. So, and everything in the life of Girish now is getting controlled by Sri Ramakrishna. First, Girish did not realize it, that how, he thought it is pretty simple, I don't have to do anything. But now Sri Ramakrishna is governing everything. Once Girish said, "Oh, well, I will do this." Sri Ramakrishna, "Who are you? Have you not given me the power of attorney? How can you say such a thing that I will do and I will not do? You say that if you do it, that will happen, otherwise not. The power of attorney has been given, and the life of Girish completely changed, giving this power of attorney. Of course, because of our ego, even if we give this lip service, I am giving power of attorney, it is so difficult to relinquish this our own powers that we think we can determine. And so, as Swami Sardananda, after narrating this incident, said, you cannot, unless you have that kind of faith like Girish Ghosh, and then sincerity, tremendous sincerity, that yes, I am really giving it up. It doesn't get, power of attorney doesn't get given like this. But we can understand and aspire for that. And then another great example, illustrious Swami Vivekananda as Narendranath. This is also a quote about this relation between Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. That Swami Vivekananda, it is, he, as it is written here, I will just read, it is quite explanatory. It is not easy to change a person like Vivekananda. He was well disciplined, strong in mind, strong in body, and had a gigantic intellect and tremendous willpower. All these, there are so much, there are many evidences of his, all these great qualities he had. And therefore, there was some reason to be, having that ego. Yes, I can do this, I know so much, I understand so much. What after all Sri Ramakrishna knows? He is imagining. He used to say all sorts of things to Sri Ramakrishna, that you were thinking that seeing Kali, this and that are just your imaginations. So, let me continue with the quote. He was proud of his learning and scientific reasoning, and yet this was a man who was going to be changed by a temple priest who had no formal education. It is amazing how Ramakrishna smashed his ego and his pride in his convictions and learning, and finally changed his whole life. He became an instrument in the hands of Sri Ramakrishna. He later composed many poems about Sri Ramakrishna, and one poem I will quote a little bit from it, that it is that the title of that, it is a translation of the Bengali poem, A Song I Sing to Thee. And it is actually in a way written to Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, you too. Or as the footnote says here, it is they two, means the Brahman and the Prakriti, the power of that Brahman. To them he has written this. And he says, this is a song I sing to thee, nor care I for men's comments, good or bad, censure or praise. I hold no account, servant am I, true servant of thee both. Low at thy feet, with Shakti I salute. Thou standest steadfast, ever at my back. Hence, when I turn me round, the language is interesting. Not that I turn round. When I turn me round, I see thy face, thy smiling face. Therefore, I sing again and yet again. Therefore I fear no fear, for birth and death lie prostrate at my feet. Thy servant am I through birth and birth. Sea of mercy, inscrutable thy ways. So is my destiny inscrutable. It is unknown, nor would I wish to know. Bhakti, mukti, japa, tapas, all these, enjoyment, worship and devotion to these things and all things similar to these, I have expelled at thy supreme command. But only one desire is left in me, an intimacy with thee mutual. Take me, O Lord, across to thee. Let no desire's dividing line prevent. So that is, the poem is pretty long, but it gives the spirit that the change of guard is so complete. There is no ego, that all is governed by the leader, Sri Ramakrishna. So let us see this. We have to, in spiritual life, unless we make this change of guard, our likes, dislikes, if they are the authority, the life goes in a very bad way. If our ego is the in charge, same terrible fate. So let us make discernment as the leader. And to strengthen that discernment, let us take the help of God. And God is because we need somebody like us to help, a friend, somebody who is able to take this our ship across, somebody who can be the leader, so the captain of our ship. So then we will see that the life goes in the proper way, proper direction. So thank you, friends, and we will meditate on this idea for a few seconds, and then in case if you have questions, please feel free to voice them or to type them. Yes, please. Any question? No question. Good. Any question here? Very good. So we shall conclude with the our concluding prayers after telling about the upcoming programs. And then, of course, as usual, there will be the Arati. What is February? Next Sunday. It is a very interesting topic. I had spoken about it here a few years ago, and many questions do come up about it. So I had decided to take up the discussion again, that analyzing sleepwalking. A topic, again, let me tell you, it's a very interesting topic, but it is, as we get these ideas, they are going to shatter a lot of preconceived notions, ideas that are so deep-rooted in us. So, analyzing sleepwalking, and then the Tuesday, Friday classes will go on as usual at 7:30 p.m. The Tuesday topic is Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play. On Fridays, it is the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. So, with that, there are the regular prayers, morning and evening prayers, meditation sessions. all can attend them. You have to enter at a specific time. You can see that in the flyer. There are the entry times. So, but feel free, you can come at that time. So, may the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Breaker of all worldly bondage and adored by all, we adore you too. Stainless Lord, assuming human form. Stainless Lord, assuming transcendent, yet filled with love. You free us from the stain of sin and ornament our world. Consciousness is your form. Your eyes always purified by knowledge. Your eyes always purified by knowledge. Looking at them, delusion is gone. Ocean of shining love and feeling, ever inebriated in your infinite love. Your feet always dear to your devotees. Your feet always dear to your devotees. Form our boat to cross this world. Revealed to us as God incarnate and the Lord of all things, helping us join with you. Your mind's always set in the divine light. Your mind's always set in the divine light. This we can see through your grace. Destroyer of our worldly sorrow and compassion soul, infinite
is a word. Your life's offered for the world's deliverance. Your life's offered for the world's deliverance, saving us from darkness and fear. Renouncer of all lust and lucre, therefore you were always spurning sensual life. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Grant to us pure love for you. You're fearless and you're free from doubting, with your mind very firmly resolved. Causeless refuge of your devotees, causeless refuge of your devotees, renouncing caste and birth. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even-sightedness. You give love and even-sightedness to remove our anguish here. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even-sightedness. You give even-sightedness to remove our anguish here. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Great light of blazing in the heart's gate. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you, basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis basis of both. O Lord, are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Langa ranga bhanga, these are all the sounds of mridanga. Langa ranga bhanga, these are all the sounds of mridanga. Spiritual songs devotees are singing for your worship divine. Spiritual songs devotees are singing for your worship divine. Jaya Jaya for your worship divine. Hara Hara for your worship divine. Shiva Shiva for your worship divine. Breaker of all our worldly bondage and adored by all, we adore you too. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Auspicious and blessed graciousness sublime, all noble ends you give to us, granting us refuge, all-seeing Gauri. O Mother Divine, our love to you. Creation, preservation, dissolution are your powers, eternal one. Nature's real basis, nature's essence. O Mother Divine, our love to you. We come seeking refuge from anguish. Be our Savior through your deep concern. All our suffering remove, Goddess. O Mother Divine, victory, O Mother Divine. Our love to you, Blessed Mother Divine. Our love to you, Blessed Mother Divine. Our love to you, Blessed Mother Divine. Our love to you. Jai Shri Ram Krishna Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Sarda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Swami Vivekananda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Buddha Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jesus Christ Ki Jai.